Well, first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. It's 7:22. You're 22 minutes late. Look, last week, one of the new guys made a claim that he was a victim of a hate crime. At approximately 8:22 Tuesday morning, two large men wearing red MAGA hard hats verbally forced the victim into a work van using threatening language, including, and I quote, "Get in, let's go, we're leaving without you." Because of privacy and HIPAA laws, the victim, who could only be identified as Mr. J. Ussie, was then directed, and I quote, to lock himself in with a heavy waist and body strap that rubbed upon Mr. Ussie's neck, resulting in a slight reddish mark that lasted for more than a minute. The victim was given no food, only one bottle of unfiltered lukewarm water. No air conditioning vent was ever pointed at Mr. Ussie, even though the AC was running. The ride, and I quote, seemed to last longer than it should and burn enough fossil fuel to open a new hole in the ozone layer. Mr. Ussie was permitted to wear his AirPods, but, and I quote, the loud hate speech coming from the talk show radio program made listening to his podcast, Cooking with Soy, almost impossible. The van, and I quote, was driven by a patriarchy of toxic masculinity to an undisclosed location in a seedy part of town where no Panera or Starbucks could ever exist. Mr. Ussie was then ordered to carry a 5-pound forged steel pick mattock, a 9-pound cobalt post hole digger, and a 4-pound digging spade by himself, exceeding his physician's back to work order limits. In a statement, the victim said, and I quote, "I felt like I was on a march to be crucified. I felt I was about to be digging my own grave." Turns out this story was a complete hoax. What Mr. Ussie calls a hate crime actually pays $18 an hour and is what we call work around here. We have the check stubs to prove it. The two large guys, Rocco and Frankie, do have red MAGA hard hats and clapping Nancy stickers, but they never wear them, and we have the OSHA violations to prove that. Furthermore, Mr. Ussie now admits that yes, it was a complete hoax, an absolute farce, perpetrated by his anger in not receiving Valentine's Day off. But also says this wasn't his fault and that the only one to blame for this hoax is Donald Trump.